Last video we got our bottom end all put together. We got our bearings checked for clearance, got our rings checked and filed for boost. So now hopefully what I plan on doing in this video is get our block fully assembled. First we're going to start off by installing our Brian Tooley Stage 3 Turbo Cam. We'll get that installed. We'll get our new cam plate installed as well. Timing set. Then we'll flip the engine over, test fit our windage tray, make sure that clears the crankshaft, everything fits. If that is good to go, then we'll go ahead and install the oil pump pickup tube, get our new oil pan, which is over there. We'll get that installed as well. Get the heads. Basically just try to get a full long block set up and ready to go. That way I've only got a few things to do, or a few things left to do to start getting it in that truck of mine down there. So get you set up, get that camshaft installed in the engine, and move on from there. All right, camshaft is installed. Timing set is installed as well. Timing marks are lined up. And if you're wondering, the 4 bolts on our cam retaining plate get torqued to about 15 foot-pounds. And our 3 bolts on our cam gear get torqued to around 25. So now that that stuff is installed, I've went ahead, flipped the engine over as you see, sat our windage tray on top, and as you can see here where we've got these little oval shaped holes, you got one there, one there, there you go, there's another one as well. Those holes have to be drilled out just one step bigger. I'm gonna go ahead and just use a step bit to do that. So I'll get those opened up a little bit. We'll put the cover back on the engine, and then I'll go ahead and set you up. We'll rotate the engine over, make sure the crankshaft clears the windage tray to see whether or not I gotta add washers underneath to help space it a little bit. Once we get that figured out, then I'll go ahead, install the oil pump and pickup tube, get those buttoned up as well, and then we'll go ahead and test fit our oil pan. So, but like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and get those drilled out real fast. We'll get it set back on the engine and check to see, or check and make sure it clears the crankshaft. All right, windage tray is on. Went ahead and torqued everything down. I also did double check to make sure it's still cleared after being torqued, and it does. Seth is up here with us. He's hanging out. So, windage tray is on, torqued down, everything clears. So now what I'm gonna do is go ahead and we're gonna get the oil pump installed on the front of this crankshaft. We'll get that set up so we can get the pickup tube on. Now the oil pump is still the factory pump. This is actually the one that came off that engine. I just took it apart, cleaned everything out, and it actually looks really good inside. So I am going to rerun that pump. Now, we did open up the clearances on our main and our rod bearings just a little bit. But you know, if you open it up a little bit, then you have pressure is probably going to drop just slightly. So what I've done, now don't take my word for this, right? This is my first LS platform, but I've looked and read on these oil pumps to kind of see what you can do to bump pressure. And From what I've read, you take this little Allen plug out. Matter of fact, it is right here. Here's the cap. You pull that out. Behind that cap is this spring. And on top of that spring is this plunger. Now this is what helps control our oil pressure. Now what they say you can do is you can grab some of these like shims. These are actually number 6 stainless washers. They mic out at about 30 thousandths a piece. And what you do is you stack the washers inside the plunger here, up inside, and the spring holds them into place. And that helps give you just a little bit more tension on that spring, helping you bump oil pressure just a little bit. Now, from what I've read, people shim these things anywhere between 80 and 150 thousandths. 150 seems a little extreme to me. That's just me. And I was gonna stay on the lower side anyways. Like I said, this is my first time doing something like this, but couldn't exactly get 80 thousandths out of these, so we got 90 thousandths. Like I said, they measure about, thickness of this guy here is about 30 thousandths. Number 6 stainless, you get it at any hardware store. So go ahead and stack those up, get them installed inside our pump. Then we'll go ahead and get the pump installed on the block. All right, oil pump is installed. I've seen if you just put the pump on, put the 4 bolts in by, snug them with your fingers, rotate the engine over about 3 or 4 times. That helps center the oil pump on the drive before torquing it down. Should be good to go. At least that's what I've read on the internet. And they can't put anything on the internet that isn't true. Bonjour. But anyways, oil pump is on. It is torqued down. Front and rear covers are on. Oil pump or oil pan is also installed and torqued down. I did put silicone in these 2 corners back here because I do not plan on taking the rear cover off. However, I did not use silicone up here because I plan on putting my oil return off the turbo through the front cover. So that will be taken off again here in the future once we get it in the truck and I start mocking up the turbo system. That will come back off. I've also used this neat little tool right here. I picked that up off of eBay. That helped me center this front cover over the nose of the crankshaft. That way I can torque down our oil pan and everything should be good to go. And it should be centered when I go to throw the harmonic balancer back on. But that's neat. That just slides on and off, helps center up, saves a lot of time. So now we've got the whole bottom end on here installed and torqued. Go ahead, flip this engine over. We'll get on to installing our lifters in the lifter trays, get those inside the block torqued down so we can paint our lovely head gaskets that are sitting over there with some copper gasket. They say coat the heck out of them with this stuff. Don't be stingy. So we'll get those coated. Now, I'm not, as you can see, I got my lifters soaking in a bucket of oil. I'm not a hardcore soak your lifters in oil. I always put them in there right before I go to put them in the block. That way I know they got oil, at least some oil on them and around them. That's all I do. I don't let them sit for hours. Some people say let them sit, let them soak up all the oil they can. Other people say don't do it. I don't care either way, but I've got them in that bucket. They've been in there for at least about 10 minutes. So, like I said, we'll get the block flipped, start installing the lifters in our lifter trays. That way we can get our heads on and torqued down. And Let's get to it. All right, heads are on and they're torqued. They are torqued down to 80 foot-pounds. And I did that in 3 steps, 30, 60, and 80. Basically, just start in the middle here, do a circular pattern all the way out, and repeat that for each one of your steps. You got the little guys up here. Those are torqued to 25, and you can do those after the larger head studs have been torqued. Went ahead and also dropped in all our little push rods as well, all except for that one there, because I wanted to show you the difference in the push rods. Now this is a factory push rod, and this is the one that came in the kit with the Brian Tooley cam. Factory length, I believe. Put them side by side. So yeah, they're the same length, and the length is 7.4 inches, and these are 80 thousandths thick. They actually do feel a little bit heavier than the factory ones, which is fine. They'll definitely hold up with the new springs we have on these heads, which is good because I'd hate to have any failures there. So, and as you can see, I've also gone ahead and just kind of put our gross looking factory intake manifold on top of this engine. I will be cleaning that up, but I got a little ahead of myself. Kind of wanted to see what it looked like. And I really don't think it looks all that bad, especially after we clean it up and get some black back into this, get some of that dirt and stuff off there. Don't want to rub it off. I don't want it falling in the head, but I did tape up the runners just to make sure we didn't get anything falling in on top of the valves. And I was very careful when placing it on top to make sure not to drop anything in the top of the heads. But I don't think it'll look too bad. Just clean it up, maybe give it some black paint. And I still got quite a bit of cleanup left on some of the other parts. I've got the factory balancer sitting right here. The other valve cover sitting over there in that corner. That all needs to be cleaned so we can get it painted and installed as well. Also got to finish cleaning up the factory rockers so we can finish installing our trunnion kit. Get rid of all those little needle bearings inside the factory rockers and replace them with these nice little bronze bushings. Super cool little kit, but I'm gonna have to end this one right here. It is getting late, and I've got a little bit of cleanup to do. So, anyways, hope you guys liked the video. We are one step closer to getting this thing put in that truck of mine and start mocking up a turbo kit. I'm getting real excited. Something I've wanted to do. This has been an extremely fun engine to build. Just because I'm learning something new. Said a lot of these other little things I've done have been on other engines, never this platform. So I'm real excited to see what kind of power we can make with this thing. But anyways, like I said, I got to end this one right here. Got to clean up some of my mess. But again, hope you guys liked the video. Hit that like button if you did. Share it with your friends. Leave a comment. Thank you guys for hanging out. And I'll catch you on the next one.